All right, Mr. Smith, we're ready on your case.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Doing all right.
So we're on the record in docket 07-05232 GC. That's LAFQ versus Jonathan Baugh. For the parties, please introduce themselves for the record.
For plaintiff LAFQ, Tim Smith, P48259.
All right, and this is the time set for discovery proceeding, and it's been reset several times. It's 8:30 to right now. It is now 8:46. This was scheduled for 8:30. I see that we're not exactly sure where Mr. Baugh is at this point. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Smith? He was in we checked the Eaton County Jail and the Ingham County Jail, and he's not in either one of those as of January 18th. I do know we set this discovery proceeding for today and then we had a new address on him in order to make sure that he received notice. Is that a fair statement?
That's consistent with my notes. On November 7th, he did zoom in from jail. He had told you and I that his release date was on January 12th, 5 days later. I gave him till January 13th to call me on that date. I did confirm my office number with him. I've not heard from him. I also did mail to him. He requested that we mail that day, which we did, a letter care of the jail, including a copy of the original subpoena, original default judgment, etc. He did have my phone number, and as you and I both know from November 7th, he was to call upon his release. We have not heard from him. I'm not surprised neither jail can find him because he was in fact released and was aware that we're supposed to be here today. This dates back, the original subpoena, Your Honor, was January 14th of 22. We've now been over a year, trying to get documents and a full creditor exam for Mr. Baugh, and he's done nothing but avoid service. There's been multiple hearings after bench warrants arising out of the original subpoena. At this point, my client's frustration is significant. He knew he was supposed to appear today. Because he has failed to show, I'd request, this may be the third best bench warrant arising out of this January 2022.
It may be. There may be more than that at this point.
Yeah. I'm out of options. So I'd ask for a bench warrant at this point for his failure to appear, set a bond amount at your discretion. He hasn't had problem posting those bond monies in the past because he's a self-employed HVAC contractor.
Yeah, I was looking at this earlier, and this dates back, as you indicated, we've show caused him I had numerous bench warrants. And numerous warrants, statement of surrender received, adjourned for 30 days, failed to appear. Bench warrant was canceled for show cause reset. I mean, I think we've run out of options in this regard. I agree with you. So I'm going to issue a bench warrant for the fail to appear at this time. And then I'll set a cash bond on that. That will be enough so that he feels at least he's compelled to contact you or something along this line, so that this is more than an inconvenience to him, since he just fails to appear at every civil discovery proceeding thus far, dating back a year at this time.
You bet. We'll prepare that bench warrant and submit that to your clerk. You'd like us simply to leave the bond area open. You can fill that in at your discretion.
Sure, let's do that. Let's leave it open. Let me take a look at the file. It's going to be a monetary 10% bond for something that will somehow get his attention. That this is something more than just. This has to be met as a priority at this time. So I'm thinking off the top of my head, I'm thinking probably $4,000, 10%.
Okay, that makes sense. The account balance is a little over 4,300. So you want me to just I can have my staff put that in 4K, 10%.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay, we'll do that. I certainly appreciate your help this morning.
All right. So for the record, the defendants failed to appear once again, and we issued a bench warrant and bond forfeiture and I'll indicate the bond will be $4,000, 10%. Then we'll go from there, Mr. Smith.
All right, sounds like a plan. We'll prepare and submit, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. That's all for the record. Docket 0705232 GC.
Thanks.
Have a
man.
nice day.
You as well.
No, that's not you yet. They're not.
Excuse me, Judge.
It's not your turn yet.
Sure. Yeah. Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, was that a different person?
Yeah, it was a different person. That was
All
a
right,
different
sorry
hearing.
about that, sir.
Now I'm going to put you in a breakout room with your public defender, Lauren Sutter, all right? And so you'll have some privacy and she'll be able to explain this process to you. All right, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so I just want to tell you something.
Miss Yancy, I'll call your case next. All right, ma'am?
Okay,
All right. We're on the record in dockets 22-01771 GC. That's Credit Acceptance Corp. versus Jennifer Yancey. This is the time set for I will call it a second pretrial other than a discovery hearing. And I noticed that we don't have a representative of Credit Acceptance Corp here in the physical courtroom or in the Zoom courtroom. And ma'am, you are Jennifer Yancey?
Yes, I am.
All right. Ms. Yancey, I've got in here that there was some talk last time of a conditional dismissal. Did anything ever come of that?
So what had happened with them, they had agreed upon a settlement for $2,500. So I did get a loan from my credit union and I did pay that $2,500 in full.
Okay. Well, that might be the indication. So the indication is that you paid off the debt at this time.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't sent me any, I haven't received any contact from them at all. So.
All right, but your indication to me on the record is that you've paid off the $2,500 debt or settlement agreement in regards to a loan that you took out.
It was for a joint car loan. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, since I don't have a representative from the Credit Acceptance Corporation today, I'm going to assume that they've decided that you've made good on the debt and that they don't have a case, that there's no further case, or this is completed whatever conditional dismissal they had in regards to the payment, because this was a collections issue, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to indicate for the record, this was scheduled for 8:30. It is now 8:54. We have the plaintiff who's failed to appear and who's been in no contact with yourself, Ms. Yancey. Is that correct? Since you made the debt payment?
Correct.
So at this time, I'm going to dismiss the case.
Okay.
Under the guise that you've made good on the debt, and there's no longer a case that exists or a controversy, an issue. So plaintiff failed to appear, D appeared. Plaintiff indicated for the record that collection had come into compliance. And then what will happen is if they have any objection to my dismissal, they'll ask for it to be set aside. If they don't, that means that whatever allegation they've made towards collection has been complied with. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes. Will I receive any documentation for today's? Like any
Probably not. I mean, not from the court because we're just dismissing their case.
Okay.
For your records, you may want some type of receipt indicating that you've come into compliance with the debt, that you've taken care of that debt. But you probably should contact them directly.
Okay. I've had problems contacting them. Like it took me a month for them to even send me the letter for the settlement so I could get the loan from my bank to pay that off. They're just really hard to get a hold of.
Do you have an email address
I do.
for them? Do you have an email for this for them?
I do not.
All right. If you can find an email address or get an email address for them, I would indicate to them in writing what has happened, what occurred in court, and so that you have some record that you've attempted to contact them and told them what happened, just for your own records. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for the record in docket 2201-771, Miss Yancey?
Not that I can think of.
All right, thank you. That's all for the record. Thank you for your appearance today, ma'am. Miss Quatum, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm going to place you in a breakout room. Once your public defender joins us, I'm going to place you in a breakout room with her. All right, ma'am?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Katoon, we'll call your case,
Okay,
both your cases. So we're on the record in docket 22-031-03141 and 22-03142. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Basima Rushdie Katoon. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender, Ms. Katoon.
And ma'am, you are Basima Katoon?
yes, I am.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Ms. Katoon?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for both pre-trials. Mr. Wisty, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, the cases will be dismissed here in the interest of justice. I believe there's at least enough evidence suggesting the dogs do not belong to the defendant here that would make this very difficult to go beyond a reasonable doubt.
All right. And Ms. Robinson, I'm assuming you have no objection to this.
That's correct, no objection.
All right, so the case is dismissed. Both of these files will be dismissed without prejudice.
Thank you.
And I'll send a nollie, not, oh, they're, okay. They're both on a ticket, so they'll dismiss without prejudice, which means that if the people have more additional information, they could issue at a later date. But for our purposes today, the case is dismissed. Both files are dismissed. All right, ma'am?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right. That's all for the record in both of these cases. Docket 22-03141 and 22-03142. Thank you for your appearance today. You're free to leave the Zoom courtroom, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Ms. Sutter, are you ready to go on Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 22-00888. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Noah Alvarez. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter, appearing on behalf of Mr. Alvarez, who joins us via Zoom.
And sir, you are Noah Alvarez?
You're muted right now.
You'll have to unmute yourself, sir.
Yes,
There
sir.
you go. All right, you can hear me all right, Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Wisty, this is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. How are we proceeding?
I would defer to defense on how they want to proceed, given Mr. Alvarez's current situation.
All right, Ms. Sutter, do you have any information in regards to how we're proceeding at this pretrial?
Yes, Your Honor. I've spoken with Mr. Alvarez as well as his case manager. At this time, I do not feel that a competency petition is needed, and so I would ask the court to schedule us for a final pretrial in this matter. Thank you.
All right. So schedule for a final pretrial, and we'll go ahead and schedule it for both final pretrial and jury trial, just to have those dates set. Final pretrial is set for
February 14th at 8:30.
February 14th at 8:30, so Valentine's Day and jury trial,
March 7th.
March 7th at 8. Just so we're clear, is on that February 14th date, does Mr. Sutter, Ms. Sutter, does Mr. Alvarez plan on joining us by Zoom on that date?
I was actually going to request, Your Honor, that he be allowed to do that. I'm expecting he'll still be at Forest View. So if it is amenable with the court and with the prosecutor's office, I think Zoom would be the most convenient way for him to appear.
Any objection to that?
Not so long as he's at Forest View, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so the final pretrial will be by Zoom on February 14th at 8:30. Jury trial set for March 7th. That, of course, is live, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Anything else for the record? In docket 22-00888, Mr. Wisty.
I lost sound from you, Your Honor. I do have a new address for Mr. Alvarez, but I would prefer to give
All
that to
right.
the court off of the live stream.
All right, so we'll get that address from you live.
Thank you.
All right, so anything else for the record, Ms. Sutter?
No, thank you.
All right, Mr. Alvarez, we'll see you by Zoom on February 14th at 8:30, okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. That's all for the record in that file.
And Your Honor, we're also ready to go on Ms. Alman.
All right.
And Mr. Alvarez, you're free to log off the Zoom. You're all set for today.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
We're on the record in docket 22-03084, 22-03085, and 22-03086. That's the People's State of Michigan versus Jennifer Alleman. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter, appearing on behalf of Ms. Alleman for the purposes of this pretrial.
Ma'am, you are Jennifer Alleman? She is not connected to audio.
Oh, I thought she was.
She was, I think. Now she's not. Let's we'll give her a sign while she's shopping to look at. This is what sent Judge Alderson into retirement. She told me, she said, this Zoom, running courtroom through Zoom.
I don't know.
No.
Hello,
Miss Alleman, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. And you are Jennifer Alleman?
I am.
All right. And we have called all three of your cases, 848-586. Parties have stated their appearances for the record. Mr. Wisty, how are we proceeding on these cases today?
Your Honor, we'd be requesting an adjournment for two reasons. One, there's been some discovery issues in this case, which I believe have been sorted out. And two, Ms. Alderman has gotten, my understanding is as of this morning, a license for one of the animals in question. We're waiting for her to get license for the other two dogs.
All right. Is that a fair statement, Ms. Robinson? And what was the problem with the fail to appear last time? If you know.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm not aware of a prior failure to appear, so I don't know if it was for an arraignment, a walk-in arraignment that was missed.
I have a January 3rd fail to appear. And it looks like there were three pre-trials.
Yep, she failed to prepare her trial.
Okay.
I know, 3 cases.
January
I-
6th or 3rd. I had put it on my,
January 3rd, I have a fail to appear on all three files.
And then she appeared late. and we reset it.
yeah, I had put it on my calendar wrong, and just as soon as I realized it, I had called the courts.
All right,
And that's when
All
they
right,
made
well-
me aware of the dates.
all right. So just so you know, the importance of getting to court, because we don't want a bench warrant out for you in this regard. All right, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So the request is an adjournment for compliance purposes on to finish up on the, there's an indication there's been in compliance on at least one dog. And so an adjournment to see compliance on the others.
I'm
That's-
actually.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's Ms.
I'm
Alman.
actually
Thank
at the
you.
vet
Ms.
now.
Alman, let me talk for you, okay? Okay, that is correct, Your Honor. We're also seeking the adjournment for discovery purposes.
Okay. So we'll set for second pretrial. For discovery purposes and compliance. Then we get a new hearing date,
February 14th at 9.
February 14th at 9 o'clock. So, Ms. Alleman, whatever's requested of your attorney to do, have that done by February 14th, 23 at 9 o'clock. And make sure that information is provided to your lawyer so we'll know what to do on these three files on that date, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. If you have any questions, contact Ms. Sutter with the Public Defender's Office. But for all these three files, which are 220308685 and 84, we'll set it for second pretrial on February 14th at 9 a.m. Anything else for the record, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Anything, Ms. Sutter?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Alleman, make sure you keep in contact with your attorney, Ms. Sutter, and we'll need that information or your appearance by February 14th, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's all for the record in those files.
Thank you.
Ms. Alman, go ahead and find the leave button and leave the Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And ma'am, you are Samantha, you are Samantha Faze?
Yes.
All right. We'll call your case in just a minute.
I don't.
Ms. Robinson, did you need to meet with Ms.?
Yes.
All right.
please
So I'll put you in a breakout room with your public defender, Aaron Robinson, in just a few minutes. All right, ma'am?
All righty.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Sir, you're Bradley Shaler?
Yes.
All right. I think we're ready to call your case then, sir.
Okay.
So we're on the record in docket 22-03581. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Bradley Shaler. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Christie on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter on behalf of Mr. Shaler, who joins us via Zoom.
And sir, you are Bradley Shaler?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Shaler?
I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whistey, this is time set for a pretrial today. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, we'd like this set for another pretrial. There are ongoing discovery issues. This really is enough. I don't know exactly what's going on. It seems to concern all the dog license cases. We've got it sorted.
Okay.
That should have discovery by the next pretrial.
And it appears that some of these there was just discovery issues on some of these.
Yeah, it seems like his office didn't receive our appearances. I know the court did. His office may have not, so we're trying to
Right.
correct all of that and figure out what's going on.
All right, we'll get a second pretrial date for discovery and discovery and compliance purposes.
February 14th at 9.
February 14th at 9 a.m. All right, so Mr. Shaler, you should be back in court with any discovery and compliance issues at least addressed on February 14th at 9 a.m. That'll be Valentine's Day at 9 a.m. If you have any questions, please keep in contact with your attorney, Lauren Sutter, from the Public Defender's Office. Anything else in regards to 22-03581, Mr. Whistey?
No, Your Honor.
Anything with Sutter?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. That's all for the record in that file. We'll see you on the 14th, okay, sir?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You're free to leave the Zoom courtroom.
So you're gonna be dismissing abandonment and licensing to the dog at large. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's what I
What was Judge Simmons? What was that? verdict?
assume that you were gonna be.
All right, Ms. Faze, we'll call your case. It's the docket 22-03229. People of the State of Michigan versus Samantha Faze. Will the parties please introduce themselves to the record?
Jake Christie on behalf of the people.
Erin Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Ms. Face.
And ma'am, you are Samantha Faze,
Yes,
and you can hear me all right, Ms. Faze?
yes.
All right, thank you. That's the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Mr. Whistey, how are we proceeding?
Ms. Faze has gotten the dog at issue licensed. The people will be dismissing the case at this time.
Okay. And that's your understanding, Ms. Robinson?
It is, and we have no objection.
All right. Ms. Faze, due to your compliance, the case is dismissed without prejudice. Means for all intents purposes for our proceedings today, it is dismissed. It could be reissued at some other time. That's for additional investigation or additional information. That's what without prejudice means. But for our purposes today and for all intents purposes, the case is dismissed. All right, ma'am?
Thank you.
All right. Anything else for the record? Docket 22-0329, Mr. Whistey?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
And this is on a ticket, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's all for the record in this file. Thank you, Ms. Faze. You're free to leave the Zoom courtroom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know. They always say we're so loud. I think they're louder than we are.
No, I know I'm pretty loud because at every office I've ever been in, the person next to my office has said you're pretty loud. And that pattern of behavior would indicate to me that I'm pretty loud.
Whatever was going on there yesterday.
I got a lecture from Joe Kimball, who was at the school. He used to come in and he says, I can hear everything you say on the phone. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Joe. I've just started apologizing.
Yeah.
I don't even defend myself because my voice carries.
We have
And,
a couple of those in our office too that we tease and they're like,
Yeah.
I am who I am.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, keep telling me to talk like softer and maybe I will, but I probably won't.
I can't. Yeah. Well, like, then when I do try and talk quieter to people on the phone, like, they can't hear me anyway, so.
Right.
I always feel bad when I'm doing weekend arrangements and that night conference in our office. Why are you yelling at me? I'm like, I'm trying to. It's the only way I can be heard. Right. The microphone is on the wall, like 20 feet away from me.
And that microphone and LPD picks up like every other word.
Yeah,
so you're
it's
just like, what?
Zoom doesn't help.
Well, in the Polycoms, so the way we do arraignments, I'm sure you know, because the room is back there. They put them in the little Polycom room in the LPD downstairs, and with the echo and their nightmarish microphone, the number of times I say "what" during arraignment interviews is
We know.
offensive. Yeah,
I can hear you guys in there talking to clients.
You have to scream or else like they can't
Right.
hear you. So you're just like, hello, my name. And they're just like, what are you?
And evidently in the 1950s, nobody,
they made all their inventions stop there.
because these aren't walls, these are curtains. I mean, they're really curtains.
Oh, so this little fun vinyl on the outside is only covering paper mache.
Yeah.
I'm convinced.
No, no. A BB would go through this,
Yeah,
much
yeah.
less a bullet. A
Yeah.
BB would go through this.
Yeah. If I sneeze violently, the whole thing's going down.
When I looked into getting the appointment, I talked to Judge Alderson because I knew her, and I actually came into the
Good morning, Your Honor.
Computer says, Peeps.
Uh,
I
Mr.
actually typed the writ myself.
So, Mr. Feigelson, you're here on Daniel Austin.
Computer says no. 001.
Your Honor, I'm sorry for being still muted. Yes, I am, Your Honor. Good morning.
No, that you're fine. So let's go on the record in your case. That's docket 22-02257. It's people of the state of Michigan versus Daniel Austin. This is, will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Mr. Austin.
All right. And this is the time set for a PA 53 bond violation in regards to Mr. Austin and that he violated bond. I have numerous times here at the PCC that he's had to have no contact with Mr. Hagler. It appears that the defendants failed to appear today. This was scheduled for 9 o'clock. It's now 9:49. Mr. Wisty, how would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, I would request a bench warrant and some sort of significant bond here. These remain allegations at this time, but there are allegations from Mr. Hagler that Mr. Austin violated no contact order, which was essentially the sticking point of the deal he was offered. And he has not appeared here today as Mr. Hagler had to take time out of his work to be here.
That's my understanding. Mr. Hagler was here, present, ready to testify. All right. Mr. Feigelson, any comment?
Yes, Your Honor, a couple of things. I will point out this is just an allegation, but they are neighbors, Your Honor, so I don't know the extent of the contact, if there was any, but I guess we can have a hearing to sort that out. I haven't heard anything from Mr. Austin recently, so I don't know his whereabouts. I don't know if notice was sent to him or he was aware of today's proceeding, Your Honor. That's the only thing I wonder. I would just ask that a bench warrant be held, and if that's possible, Your Honor, today.
Yeah, the notice was sent to his address concerning the PA 53 violation for today's date. That was sent to the 425 South Fairview Avenue, Lansing, Michigan. And I know we had the victim. The defendants failed to appear for the PA 53 violation. I'm uncertain where he's at this point. He has a previous fail to appear in September 8th of this date. So I'm going to issue a bench warrant and bond forfeiture at this time. It looks like he's got at least one fail to appear on both the PA 53 on a previous PA 53, and then we recall that bench warrant and reset it because he showed up within 48 hours. Or he showed up at least at some point, Mr. Feigelson, you were able to get him here. At this time, I'm going to set a bench warrant and bond forfeiture. Mr. Feigelson, if you're able to contact your client, let me know and let Mr. Wisty know, and we can get him in here and reset it. But at this time, I don't know where he is, so I'll issue the bench warrant and bond forfeiture. Anything else on record 22-02257, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Feigelson?
No, Your Honor, thank you for your time, and I will get a hold of your office as well as Mr. Wisty if I am able to have contact with Mr. Austin here today or this week.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Feigelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day. Take care, Mr. Wisty.
You too.
You too, Mr. Feigelson.
So we're on the record in docket 22-00977. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Micah Shabazz. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Shabazz.
And this is the time set for pretrial in the matter. This is scheduled for 9 o'clock. It is now 9:52. Mr. Wisty, it appears the defendants failed to appear today. How are we proceeding?
Request a bench warrant, Your Honor.
Ms. Robinson, any comment?
No comment.
Defendant failed to appear today. This is domestic assault, so the bench warrant bond forfeiture is issued. Anything else for the record? Docket 22-00977, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And how about Mr. Cox?
That too.
All right. Did we do Gallegos?
He didn't bring him over. He didn't bring him on the road.
Okay, we'll put that on the record.
Where's he at? Clinton.
And then Mr. McCluth is the one who will is on suicide watch, right?
Yeah, we'll just get a reset date. For him.
Okay. So we're on the record in docket 22-02509. People of the State of Michigan versus Henry Cox. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Cox.
And this is the time set for a pretrial on Mr. Cox's case. Mr. Wisty, it's not, this was set for 9:30. It is now 9:54. It appears Mr. Cox has failed to appear. How did you want to proceed?
Your Honor, I would request a bench warrant without the 48-hour hold, as this is an assaultive crime. The court should be aware that we did get contact from victim advocate from Clinton County indicating we may have a warrant in Clinton County. If it turns out to be the case, he's in Clinton County jail, I would believe the bench warrant should be lifted.
All right, we'll check to see if they're where to rid him out for the adjourned hearing. Ms. Robinson, any comment?
I'm gonna check right now. Yeah, so I'm checking Vine Link and it says that he's in custody in Clinton County, but he was transferred to another facility. But we don't know where, when, or how.
All right,
So that's great.
so we need to track it, and we need to track him down on where to rid him out.
Yeah, so I don't, so it seems like he's in custody. What? And he's been in custody since Christmas.
Hmm.
Makes sense. At least my notes were indicating that he was out.
It says he was transferred to another facility, so I think he's probably, is he on like work release? I don't know. But if he wasn't in custody, it would just say not in custody, or it would just say open. Or that could also mean that he's there just in like federal custody. Yeah.
So do we know where he is?
He's technically still in Clinton County custody, but
they've released him to another facility.
they released him somewhere.
All right.
I would just as a proposal, maybe a bench warrant with a 48-hour hold.
All right. Let's. So I'll issue a bench warrant bond forfeiture because I really don't know where he is. But we'll put it with a 48-hour hold. So if we find out where he is, we can recall the bench warrant. And then we can rid him out for the subsequent hearing. I'm just not sure where he is right now. Anything else for the record? Docket 22-02509, Mr. Wisty.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Robinson.
No, Your Honor.
I'm gonna indicate that D was incarcerated Clinton County.
Wendy, does your system say anything different or?
No, I was looking and I don't know where he is either. If you guys figure it out, send me a message. Otherwise, we'll try to root him out at Clinton County because that's the last place we know.
Yeah, I'll just call them. See?
I do not ever have good luck with Clinton County. So
Anyone?
so maybe somebody else does, but I do not.
I would have put for the record that we're just trying to find him, but that's why the 48-hour hold is put on, because it's not his fault if he's incarcerated and he can't get here.
Yeah. And then did we get a date for Mr. McLeod?
Let's do Gallego, or I don't think we got a date on either one of those, so let's get a date on on a subsequent date on Mr. Gallegos. And then we can get a subsequent date on Mr. McLeod. So we're on the record in docket 23-00097. That's People of the State of Michigan versus Hector Gallegos. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lawrence Sutter on behalf of Mr. Gallegos. He is not here, but not through his own error.
Yeah, it's come to the court's attention that the court did the writ to writ him out, and it was sent back as done, but it was not processed for some reason, and therefore we have to get a new date, and we'll have to writ him out again. Is that your understanding, Mr. Wisty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, and where do we writ him out of again?
Clinton County.
Our favorite.
Writ, all right, a new pretrial date,
February 7th at 10:30.
February 7th at 10:30. All right, so anything else for the record, docket 23-00097, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Sutter?
No, Your Honor.
And we will rid him out again from Clinton County and try this again.
Thank you.
Then we'll need to call. I don't know if you want to wait for, I mean, it appears that
Mr. McLeod is actually due in front of us. I believe it's on
at 10:30.
Thursday. He has a multitude of pending files.
Oh, well, let's just set it then.
Well, that's what I was looking
Right.
for. He is scheduled to be here on 1, 2, 3, 4 PCC matters. And Mr. Abbott is assigned to that from your office for the PCC at 9. Do we want to just try to put that in on that day?
Yeah, I don't know.
100% do. Absolutely.
Okay, so just a second, let me make a space here.
What date is that?
26. I'm not saying you can come this day.
Right.
How does that happen?
I don't know. We've been asking for months. It's not an internal policy and continued representation. So like one of us has a state case with a person who's safety, same person gets it.
They come back to you.
It's
I don't know that
supposed
we
to be.
call it on the road, check that to you.
So if someone comes back from last summer.
We'll go ahead and put it on the record and then,
Our clerks
I
aren't
just
always
put
great at
read-
reading that.
because it's on our docket, so I'll
It
just,
must be Sunday night.
Absolutely
Right.
not.
So we're on the record in docket 18-07568. That's people of the state of Michigan versus Matthew McCluth. This is the time set for sentencing today. Parties appearances for the record.
Jake Westy on behalf of the people.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. McCluth.
And I've received an indication from the jail that Mr. McCluth is presently under suicide watch and therefore unable to be transported. In regards to this sentencing, I've also been apprised that that we have several other files that are coming to the courts, coming in front of the court, and so we'll just adjourn this sentencing to the date of those other files. So adjourn the suicide watch. This file not be transported. And what's the new date?
The 26th of this month at 9 AM.
So it'll be set for February 26th at 9 AM. And we will sentence and then we'll address those files on that day. I think that's a Mr. Abbott. I think Mr. Abbott's on those other files. All right. Anything else for the record in docket 18-07568, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Anything, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for the record in that file.
Just reassign it to you. So I was thinking, he's just gonna get no off. Was also somebody was February, like, oh, maybe it was mine before I adjourned. No, it's a brand new case.